Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Simply Talk brought to you by Simply Creative. My name's Andres Sarmiento, and today I'm joined by my co host Jeffrey Creightney and a wonderful guest. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Whitney Deal.
The amazing, multi-talented theater film actress, Whitney Deal. And she writes. I remember you write. I remember that as well. I didn't forget that.
I think from now on, Jeffrey, you're gonna have to like introduce the guest because you have a hell of a trailer pitch voice when it comes to it.
I just like talking to people, man. You know, someone told me a long time ago that I could do radio, and here we are, right? It's funny how the world works.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, you can do anything. You are multi-talented.
All right, so yeah, we're joined by another fabulous actress. The only difference this time is that she is overseas. Where is it that you're at right now?
I am in London
London.
right now.
What brought you
Yes.
to London?
So what brought me to London actually was just to experience something new. And yeah, ultimately I do want to act in like on every continent and just be kind of global and have those experiences. But what brought me to London was this one class called method acting. And so I came here in 2019. It was October, and I stayed right up until March 1st, actually, of 2020. I came back right in time, before the pandemic got really crazy. I found out some Americans actually got stuck over here. And the odd thing, no one knows this, but I left in a week early before my class ended. And I was supposed to extend my flight. But if I would have extended my flight 1 week, I would have been at risk of not being able to get home. So yeah, I waited. I did my quarantine, and the moment the restrictions kind of let up, I loved London so much I just kind of came back. And so now I'm studying acting at Identity School of Acting. And yeah, I really like it. It's very exciting. I'm learning a lot here. And so I feel like I answered that, right? That's what brought me to.
Is it for like theater, or is it just in general with acting in general for
Um,
film and television, or is just
it's general with acting. Yeah,
okay?
definitely. Like, for example, the classes that I took this term, we call them semesters, but this was a term. I took classics with Ricky Dukes. Love Ricky. That was pretty much a Shakespeare class, which was so exciting. I think I like did Shakespeare in college. No, I did it at AMDA, American Musical and Dramatic Academy in Los Angeles. And I told myself that I would never do it again.
I'm interested in knowing the road that got you there, like the ups and downs. Like, what's the story behind that? Like, what what brought Whitney to London today, and was there any hardships that kind of like was in the process for you to be where you are right now?
Yeah, I think probably my biggest tribulation that I faced was my mom passing away in 2011. It was July 11th, 2011. 7/11/11. I'll never forget that number.
Oof.
And so at the time, I was in Tallahassee and I just joined the Black Actors Guild at Florida State. I always knew I wanted to perform. I knew I wanted to act, but I had no idea how to get there or how to make it happen. I never took an acting class or anything. I just knew that I did enjoy performing arts, and I would check out books in the library, to learn about the different techniques, upstage, downstage, stage left, stage right, and things like that. And so it wasn't until I auditioned at the Black Actors Guild, and I'll never forget this girl named Lauren Muller. Like, I was gonna kind of cop out on the audition, and she said, "Hey, you could go in front of me," and I'm just like, okay. And so I auditioned, I got in, and I got my first lead role. And I'm not trying to gloat, but I feel like I've been like hitting and getting nice lead parts ever since.
It means a lot that you opened up that much to us, and it kind of like I don't know if Jeffrey knows this, but kind of hits home for me too. And it's actually sometimes these losses kind of like when used properly by oneself, it kind of like turns into motivation and aspiration to want to show that even in the afterlife, you want to show your loved ones that they should be proud of you, or you want to make them proud, regardless if they're still with us or not. And I say that because in 2012, like I'm still a chef, but I went into being a chef because my dad got me inspired to make food and all that. He would always take care of the holiday meals, and like he had a bunch of cookbooks. And I went into culinary school at the time he was living in Colombia. The moral of the story is when I got my first kitchen job, was around the time that my father came to visit us, and he came very ill. He had cirrhosis, like his liver was very damaged because of over drinking. And without getting too much into detail, he never got to see me in the kitchen. He never got to see me with my chef uniform. He never got to see my growth. But I chose not to let that be a crippling factor. If anything, I chose that to be my motivation to like, I'm going to make you proud. I'm going to show you that I can do it. And I know for a fact, and I'm not sure if you feel this way about your mom, I know that you're watching over me. You're going to be my guardian angel and my inspiration that's going to get me to where I want to get.
I knew that though. Whitney told me that about her mom, and it's hard losing. It's always going to be hard losing a parent, and no matter what age you are, it's tough. I lost my father. I didn't know how to navigate the rest of the world when it happened. A part of you gets sucked away in a sense. So it's always going to be tough. Mine's passed away when I was like 14, and I'm like, damn, how do I deal with high school the rest of the way? How do I deal with this? How do I deal with that? I didn't cry, but I just was like, there was a sense of being lost a little bit. And sometimes that that still does happen every now and then, but it's tough. But I'm happy to know that people are still continuing on and doing what they always feel they should be doing. Like Whitney's like, all right, this has happened to me, and you're able to still do what you want to do.
I do have like this really funny story, right? So since we're talking about cooking, right? So I was hosting this party at my house, and Jeffrey came over.
Oh my God.
Jeffrey was the only I think at that time you were pescatarian, you only ate fish. And so I feel like I cooked everything so delicious, but then I accidentally dried out the fish because I let it overcook. And it's just like, I feel like I gave Jeffrey just this horrible fish. It was so disgusting. And he just tried to pretend like he liked it and it was good anyway, but I know it was bad. I know it was bad,
Oh man.
You remember that?
I remember it.
I think I'm a good cook, despite that overcooked fish that I gave Jeffrey that one time.
I remember that day.
Whitney, what do you like to do outside of acting? Like, what do you do in your free time?
In my free time?
You mentioned something about gardening also.
Why did I go blank? Yes. I do love plants. I've definitely got into the plant game for a while. My sister, Kima, she actually started me off, with plants, and I just grown such an attachment with them. They're so cool. I love it. Actually, one of my hobbies is exploring. I like going new places. Most times here, I'll just catch a bus that I haven't caught yet and just get on it. And if I see an area that's interesting, I just get off and just kind of walk around and just see what's around, just explore the area. I do like to write a little. I can't say like is so much writing, but I will do that.
You also do it because like you said, it's a form of expression. Like it's creative. So if you ever come to Miami, I'm gonna study my cake design, and we're gonna do a little cake showdown. Let's see who wins.
I like that.
and the winner gets to eat the cake, and the loser too.
But no, so talking about balance, I know one of the things that you when I reached out to you, you were saying like um you spend time with your thoughts, and it allows you a chance to just breathe. And then I believe you also said like you don't feel like, because you don't feel like you have to be obligated to anyone now that you're in London. And
Yeah,
that was something that
yeah.
I was like, I wanted you to kind of like dive a little bit more into. But I didn't want to
Mhm.
ask, any follow-up question at the time when we were like texting or whatnot. So I just wanted to see if you wanted to like touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, I can. I feel like back at home, okay, it's something about being in a land of familiar, you know. Um, it's this book called by Bruce Wilkinson called The Dream Giver. And like the first part of the book, he's just using these different, I'm not sure if it would be called an analogy, but he's telling the story about this guy named Ordinary who he had to go to the land of to be somebody, you know, in order to pursue his dream. And his first main challenge was getting out of the land of familiar. You know,
Mm.
his dream could not happen if he was in that land of familiar. So he had to leave the land of familiar in order to chase his dream that the dream giver gave him. And so I feel like it's that my mom gave me that book. And so I feel like that was kind of like, it's the same thing. When I'm back at home, I have so many distractions because, you know, I have my family, I have my friends, and it's just like, hey, do you want to do this? Do you want to go there? Let's do this, let's go there, blah, 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 blah. And so, and even if so, you know, people like checking in a bit more, just kind of filling your schedule with different things, different activities. Even if you did go somewhere, it's a high chance that you might run into somebody that you know. So if I was to go to a cafe to want to get away and read a book, you know, I can run into someone and then that'll take up my time. And so it's just like being here in London where I'm not known, where no one knows me, it's kind of like a breath of fresh air. I have the freedom to explore and just discover who I am, you know, without any extra influences from my friends or from my family.
But I wanted to say something before that, because it's like you're discovering who you really are. I saw something on Instagram. My birds are chirping in the background, but
I love it though. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I heard
um
them.
and so this guy, he was saying he went to a therapist, and no, after the fact, he was just saying, I would live my life trying to be a good husband, a good brother, a good father, a good son, try to do my best at work or whatever. And he said he explained all that to his therapist, and then his therapist asked him, when you strip away all those layers, who really are you? Who you are? And he said he broke down in that moment. But that's when he
Yeah,
truly started to understand, like he started to figure out who he really was in that moment, what he really wanted. So he had to, and it's
yeah,
basically him just saying like, hey, I had to move away, get away from some of that stuff too, to understand like who am I on the inside. And that brings me back to the acting, because I know you mentioned that the realism part of it, you know,
yeah,
wanting to touch on that a little bit. And what I wanted to say on top of that is that a lot of times you don't see that because people are not showing layers of who they are. I'm not sure if that's what you meant, but I definitely wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think because so what I learned in the Strasbourg method, and this is what I truly appreciated about the method, like you have to know where you are in order to even begin working. You know, like during your warm-up process, which is called like the basic relaxation, you're finding out where you are and then you're taking that and then moving forward in the text with it. You're not saying, okay, I feel stressed and aggravated and frustrated and I missed my train today, but my character is happy right now. So I'm going to put aside how I feel right now in this moment and just pretend to be happy. Like that's anti Lee Strasberg. You know, Lee
Mm.
Strasberg's method is pretty much saying, no, first we're going to relax. We're going to find out where we are in that relaxation. Okay, I'm frustrated. I'm aggravated. I'm egotistical right now. I want to do a good job. I'm this, I'm that. And once you find that, then you can relax and go ahead and proceed with the text, not stripping away all of those things, but embracing them and then using that. So it's impossible to give the same performance over, because you know what I'm saying? It's not likely that you'll be the same person that you was today as opposed to yesterday, or that you'll be in the same mood. So his whole thing is giving a real performance. You're not hiding behind anything. You're totally embracing who you are.
How would you encapsulate this whole message? And imagine you're talking to a brother, to a friend, to a family member, and through all your hardships and also rewarding experiences, what is that piece of advice that you would give that person?
The piece of advice that I would give that person is to, one, know what it is that you want to do, because if you want to be famous, then there's many, many ways that you can just be famous. Two, if you want to be a great artist, then that is going to take a longer process. That is going to take a lot of self-development to achieve that. But my thing is, know what you want and be true to what it is you want. If you just want to be famous, then do your thing. That's what you want. No one can dictate if what you want is good or if it's bad, or anything. But if you know where you want your destination to be, then you can understand and lay out the road to get there. The second thing I would say, okay, the first one is knowing what it is that you want to do. The second thing is be brave, be brave. There's no way you can be any type of artist without bravery. You know what I'm saying? That's just a part of the gig. And it's okay to be shy. To be shy is, our personality, like introverts, extroverts, and things like that. It's a difference. But you have to be brave to face these things, to go places where you don't feel comfortable, to push boundaries, to explore your range. Explore your range, because once you start exploring that, then that's when you're going to discover and find new things that you never thought that you can do. I will always say, my third thing I would say is, don't be afraid to learn something new. There's no way you can grow if you keep doing the same thing that you're doing. You have to expand your borders, like you must. If that's through a book, if that's through a class, never be complacent. Never think, okay, well, I did good on this show and now I'm all that and I don't need to go to acting classes or anything like that. No, always keep growing, because you're eventually going to outgrow yourself, which is, now that's when the magic actually happens, and that's when you'll feel the most gratitude. And the last thing I would say is never give up. You can't give up. Like, great things take time. You're a cook. You get what I'm saying? Can you imagine if you wanted a beautiful chicken, you stuffed it with thyme and potatoes and carrots, and then you just stuck it in the microwave, as opposed to you taking that chicken and you putting it in the oven, and not on high either, because you're going to burn and crisp out the skin, but you put it on a nice low setting and you give it time to marinate, time to roast, to let all those juices flow and everything like that come out. Like, good things take time.
Now, here's the famous question that probably Jeffrey gets tired of me asking all the time, but it goes with the theme of the show. So, Whitney, what is creativity for you?
Creativity for me is, one, embracing who you are and giving yourself the permission and the freedom to stamp your outlook on a particular subject and share that with other people.
Damn, I heard that before, like giving yourself, you shouldn't have to ask yourself permission or something like that. I forgot how the saying went, but a lot of teachers would tell you that, you shouldn't have to ask yourself for permission to do something. It's a powerful thing, man.
And it's overlooked also. It's something that's very overlooked. People think that they believe that sometimes they're not capable of doing something because they just don't have the approval or the resources to do so. But like it's all on you. Like
Yeah.
it's all on you to be like expressive. Doesn't even have to be creative. It's expressive. It's expression.
Whitney, it is a pleasure talking to you. I haven't seen your face in so long, you know, and I always enjoy talking to you. You
Yeah.
are a beacon of light in this world, and I
Oh,
truly admire you, and I love you.
No, I love you too, Jeffrey. Like you have always been real consistent from day one. Like the world definitely needs more people like you in it. Seriously.
Thank
And
you.
I do appreciate that. And then like you you always just pull something else out of your hat. You know, I don't know if you're on this path of self discovery, maybe, but now you're doing talk show, you write, you're a bomb actor, you film. I'm always impressed with you, always. And I'm so proud of you.
all right. Well, it was a pleasure having this
Or
conversation.
or you guys can come and do the show in London. I think that's a better option.
When we got the budget.
Yeah, that's a long flight for me.
Oh, Jeffrey, come on. You're going to jump out of a plane one day.
Yeah, I'll do the indoor like skydive kind of thing. I'll cheat it, but we'll
Nice.
see.
All right. Awesome. Well, like this was a very engaging conversation. It was full of details, and thank you so much for taking the time to share your story. Like that, I think that's what I love about these little podcasts. It's not just us talking about what we do, but also giving our stories for others to see.
Yeah.
So thank you for
I
sharing.
think it helps a lot of people too. You know what
Yes.
I mean? I know it's helping me as well in my own way. You know, it does help with that self-discovery part that Whitney mentioned. Because yeah, I am on that. I am on a path of self-discovery myself. But this podcast has been an eye-opener in a lot of ways, and I enjoy every conversation that I have with someone. So
Yeah, this was amazing. I loved every single second of it. Seriously. I wish you guys so much luck with this. I really do. This is great what you're doing. And just, you know, I'm sorry, world, but I have to say this. They asked me what I wanted to talk about. You know, it's just like you guys are giving people the freedom. I feel like freedom is a word that just kept coming up throughout this whole thing. You know, but
Yeah.
the fact that you gave me the freedom to come and to express what Whitney wanted to share, I mean, that's so important. That matters. And I'm so appreciative of that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
it.
And for those listeners that are out there that feel like want to say something or share with the world, shoot us a message and we'll see how we can work something out. At the end of the
Hell
day,
yeah, we're gonna get a studio and it's
Yeah.
gonna be live, and we're gonna be in the studio. We're gonna bring people in. We're gonna bring Whitney in. We're gonna bring all the people that already did a podcast. We're gonna bring them in, sit them down, and then we'll have a real good time then.
that is both awesome and scary at the same time. Let's do it. But yeah, to put a wrap on it, because if not, we're going to continue this conversation
Yeah, I know.
for
I
the
know.
whole day.
Right? I know, right?
And as always, thank you guys for watching and stay creative.